Coming up tonight on Primetime Local News, the Chamber of Commerce held their Business Excellence Awards last night, plus an update on the Cenovus Energy Hub and our weekly edition of What's Happening. The Lloydminster Chamber of Commerce held their annual Business Excellence Awards last night. I attended the event and was able to talk to some of the night's biggest winners. Yesterday's Business Excellence Awards were a success, with several Lloydminster businesses being recognized for their achievements over the past year. One of the most prestigious awards of the night is the Lifetime Achievement Award, which was won by Glenda Alco for her contributions with many businesses over the years.
You know, the businesses that I've been involved with have been successful. I'm very proud of that because a lot of effort went into it. But I'm also very proud of being able to help others while I've been at it.
Alco was honored to be recognized for her achievements, but says that awards were never her motivation for her to give her best effort into all of the businesses she was involved with.
I just do what I do. It's not something I look for accolades for or anything. It's kind of what life has brought and what I've put into it. So for somebody to recognize that as important enough to do this is kind of amazing, and quite honestly an amazing honor that I was very surprised to get, but very thankful as well.
Maz Entertainment took home both the Business of the Year award and the Small Business of the Year award. While founder Cody Mazzaroli was unable to attend, his wife Stephanie, who accepted the award on his behalf, says he is honored to be awarded for the company's achievements.
Yeah, we are very grateful for this community. He's very grateful that the community supported him back 10, 15 years ago, that he has now created this business pretty much from the garage, and now he just is all over Canada touring with the PBR, and he's just grateful that the community supported him and gave him every opportunity to grow and flourish in all of that he does.
Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News. The Lloydminster Community Youth Centre held a kickoff party yesterday celebrating how long it has been in service. 30 years, that's how long the Community Youth Centre has been in business in Lloydminster, a place that gives youth the chance to be happy and safe while not having to deal with any negativity.
We cater to youth aged 12 to 18 and provide recreational-based and social-based support. And basically it's a youth community. So they come and they hang out and they receive supports, emotional support, social support, recreational support. It's a pretty cool place.
30 years is quite the achievement for the centre. There are about 150 members in the building right now, but they had over 6,000 visits last year. These stats show just how much youths benefit from the centre and why it is needed in Lloydminster.
It's important because youth need a place to belong, and youth also need a place to receive support, and we are able to offer both a social outlet, community outlet, as well as support.
The Youth Centre will continue to support youths within Lloydminster for many years to come. The Cenovus Energy Hub is well underway with its construction. A quarterly report was presented to Council regarding the Energy Hub with the goal of getting the new building now fully sealed off.
Certainly, as we heard today, that there's a real drive to have the facility completely enclosed, hopefully by mid-November. And the last report was the end of October, and give or take, just items going through, hopefully mid-November will be the date that they have the building completely sealed from the outside.
Fundraising efforts are still top of mind for the city, with multiple areas in the new building open to sponsorship opportunities.
As every other recreation facility, the BioClean Aquatic Center, the Service Sports Center, and others have been built with the donations of individuals and families, as well as businesses. You'll be hearing more from them about a brick program, so there'll be opportunities where people will be able to make a donation, and they can make a donation at any time towards the construction of the facility. But certainly, as we move closer to that opening, we'll see more work being done by the committee to ramp up fundraising events in our city to help us get to that $8 million value.
Lakeland College had an excellent start to the fall with their annual open house. They are now excited to be hosting a virtual open house October 29th.
Our human services has been online for many years, and a lot of these students are working in the field. So we ensure that we have a virtual open house so that they can actually see what Lakeland offers as well.
The virtual open house is to show off Lakeland's predominantly online and blended courses, which there are many and which there may be more of in the future.
We follow the lead of our students. So if our students are asking for more, that is something that we will consider and move towards that.
With the growth of these online programs, Lakeland College has seen a 12% increase in fall enrollment compared to last year. It's now time to take a look at some of the upcoming community events in this week's edition of What's Happening.
If you love laughter, some dark comedy, some great characters, make sure you check out Sinners on stage at the Legacy Centre. The Legacy Centre in Lloydminster, they host so many great activities and events, and right now they're the site for the Lloydminster Community Theatre play Sinners, and this is by renowned Canadian playwright Norm Foster. You're going to see some great local talent on stage, some familiar faces, but also some fresh new faces as well. And what a great night out. It's all part of the Arts Without Borders Festival, and the play takes to the stage once again tomorrow night at 7 and coming up on Sunday afternoon at 2 as well. If you want to get your tickets, you can get them at the Legacy Centre or head online, eventbrite.ca. This weekend, a busy weekend at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. They are hosting Jenny O'Gilvy, Canada's unconventional medium, for a couple of shows. She's going to be there tomorrow night at 7 and then once again on Sunday afternoon. She is a renowned psychic medium and spiritual coach, and she has a profound gift for connecting with people and with the spiritual realm. To get more information on these shows and to get your tickets, you can head online right now, vicjubatheatre.ca. And fall suppers continue in our area. Coming up this weekend in Marwayne at the Community Hall, they're hosting their fall supper. They'll be serving up from 5 until 7. It's turkey, ham, and all the fixings. And then the Clandonald Community Hall, they're hosting their fall supper next Friday, November the 1st, for you to head out and enjoy. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
I'm now joined here with Abby St. John, and we're going to take our first look at the weather here. We got some nice single-digit temperatures today.
Yes.
Nice, mild, yeah.
Yes, it was nice. It was very sunny out. I didn't find it as windy. It definitely didn't hit as windy as it has been this past week. A little bit. The wind has started to pick up a little bit, but for the most part, it's been a nicer day out than what we've seen. 8 degrees currently here in the border city, which isn't too bad. And with that wind chill, it only feels closer to +4, so we're still above 0 in all aspects, which is definitely what we want for this time of year. 22km/h wind, so definitely not as windy as we saw yesterday, but it still has that breeze that it is quite a factor when you are outside. Current temperatures in Alberta similar to what we are seeing here as well. 8 degrees out in Edmonton, Marwayne, Bonnyville, 7 in Cold Lake, Laklavish, and St. Paul, and 9 in Vegreville, Vermilion, Wainwright, and in Provost. And in Saskatchewan, 7 degrees in Isla Cross and St. Walburg, 8 in Pierceland, Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and Maidstone. 10 out in Macklin, and North Battleford is sitting at 9 degrees. And then overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to -4. Those clouds will start to clear up early on, or it'll start clear early on, and then those clouds will start to increase as the evening goes on. So it is going to become a little bit more overcast overnight. 15km/h winds. Into tomorrow, a daytime high of 10 degrees. It will be a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day. It will be quite windy, however, 26km/h wind, so that it'll definitely feel a little bit cooler than that 10 degrees. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake, -3. It will be partially cloudy, and that wind won't be much of a factor at only 9 km/h. Into tomorrow, just a daytime high of just 7 degrees, and expect cloudy conditions, so it is going to be quite gloomy out. And that wind will pick up in the morning about 20 km/h. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster, -4 will be overnight temperature, and those clouds will start to increase as well as the evening goes on. 15-kilometer-per-hour wind, so the wind will slow down just a little bit. And then tomorrow, a daytime high of 8 degrees. It will be breezy, about 22-kilometer-per-hour winds throughout the day, and a mix of sun and cloud. And then over the next 3 days, a high of 8 and low of -3 for tomorrow. Like I said, mix of sun and cloud, and then it will be windy in the morning. And that will be the case on Sunday as well. Expect breezy winds in the morning, but it will be quite cloudy. A daytime high of 11 degrees and a low of 0. And then on Monday, we cool off again with just a high of 4 and a low of -5, and that wind will start to increase as well as the day goes on. And taking a look at a viewer-submitted weather photo. Thank you so much again, Greg, for sending these photos. This beautiful sunset here in Lloydminster. If you have any weather photos that you would like to share on our show, please email us at weather@stingray.com. As a first look at our evening weather forecast, we'll have more news coming up after the break.
Stockade Roundup is one of the top cattle shows in Western Canada and once again promises to bring the best cattle to Lloydminster. Our Thomas Wildman talked with the co-chair to learn about this year's event.
Today I'm joined by Graydon Kay, the co-chair of the Stockade Roundup. He's here today to tell us about this great event, and so thank you so much for joining me today, Graydon.
Thanks for having me, Thomas.
And for those who have never attended the Stockade Roundup, Graydon, what exactly is this event all about?
It's a really cool week. It takes place at the Lloyd Exhibition. We see a large variation of different breeds in attendance. Each breed competes individually amongst themselves. And then at the end of the week, we cap things off. Each breed champion goes on to compete for the Supreme title on the Friday night.
And can you give us an overview of what special events are happening on each day during the Stockade Roundup?
So the whole event takes place from October 29th to November 1st. We kick off things on Tuesday the 29th, and our first show of the week is the Princess of the Prairies Bred Heifer Showdown. This is a really cool one we added just a couple of years ago. It's a head-to-head tournament-style jackpot. So 2 bred heifers will come in the ring at the same time, and our panel of 3 judges will determine which one moves on in the jackpot and which one is excused back to the barns. So that's a really fun one. There's a lot of camaraderie that surrounds that show, a lot of cheering. And then following that immediately is our welcome social, sponsored by Alberta Beef Producers, and kind of a new spin on it this year. There'll be some appetizers along with that following that tournament show, as well as a little presentation from ABP and some exhibitor draws as well. So kind of a new format for our Tuesday night to get the week started. And then when we get into our second day on Wednesday the 30th, we start to see our breed shows take place. So Wednesday the 30th, we're going to see our percentage cattle show, as well as our all other breed show, which is comprised of the Limousin and the Shorthorn breeds, as well as Red Angus, followed by our Lloyd X Junior show. And within our junior show this year, we have a $1,500 scholarship awarded to our top senior showman, which is $1,500 sponsored by Ritchie Brothers. And then on Thursday, the 31st, we're going to see the Speckle Park, Charolais, Semitol breeds, as well as the Prospect Steer and Heifer show. And we're going to round off that day at 4:30 with the King of the Ring Bull Calf Jackpot. And then on Friday, the 1st, we'll see Hereford and Black Angus breed show, as well as our Cattleman of the Year presentation. And then at 4 o'clock, we're going to see our Supreme show to wrap up the week.
And Graydon, who are going to be the main judges for this year's Stockade Roundup, as well as some of the touch-ups that have been made for the Lloydminster exhibition to make this the best Stockade Roundup ever?
Yeah, so the 2 gentlemen that'll be doing our breed shows this year are Owen LaGarden and Chad Wilson. They'll be splitting up the week for all the general breed shows. As far as our jackpot shows go, we have panels of 3 coming in for all 3 of those jackpots. Those names will be released at the time of the show, but Chad Wilson and Owen LaGarden will be doing those breed shows throughout the week. As far as new other fresh things within our event, we were lucky enough to purchase some new panels this year at the exhibition. So that's going to be freshened up in the barn a little bit, as well as much like we did many years ago, we're going to have a central bar located within the barns which kind of creates some fun atmosphere as well as a ringside bar as well. So lots of fun to be had. Fresh new look. It's going to be a fun week.
And how are the numbers looking this year for total amounts of cattle for this year's Stockade Roundup?
Yeah, entries are slightly up from last year, which is certainly nice to see. We've got a really nice representation of cattle coming amongst all breeds. So we're certainly excited to see that. Um, if we touch a little bit more about our Friday night with our Supreme show, it's sponsored by Norheim Ranching. They've done it for a couple of years, and it's always great to have them along for that one. And so when that show comes into the ring, all of our breed champions will be represented in there. And then the two that are chosen as overall Supreme champions, they're going to have automatic buy-ins to both the Alberta Supreme at Farm Fair the following week, as well as into the Agribition Beef Supreme at the end of November. So it's a high-stakes show on Friday night. The lights are off, the fireworks are on, the spotlights are out. It's a really, really cool one. So if somebody hasn't seen that happen before and they're interested in coming to check out the show, that's certainly a great day to come to town.
Thank you so much for all the information today, Graydon, and we definitely look forward to yet another great year of Stockade Roundup.
Awesome. Thanks, Thomas.
The Vic Juba is holding their 4th Lloyd Local Series in November, and Abby St. John spoke with one of the performers to get more on the show.
The Vic Juba is home to a number of performances all year, and including their Lloyd Local Series. And the last one is coming up on November 14th. And today I'm joined by one of the performers, singer-songwriter McKenna Gallagher. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, you are local to Lloydminster and you are performing on November 14th. And we will talk about that specifically. But first, can you tell me a little bit about your journey in music and how you got to where you are now?
Yeah, of course. As lots of people, I started piano lessons at a young age. Found out quite quickly piano wasn't my instrument, but shortly after that, in elementary school, I picked up the guitar, and it's been my instrument ever since. I still play to this day, and I love sharing that knowledge with the students I teach now. Around that same time, I also started voice lessons, and that just kind of took off from there. And I started performing a couple years after that. Around grade 8, I joined some different clubs at school, and then really grew as an artist myself, performing at the Root back when it was still operational, and then kind of all around at any event I could get myself signed up for. And the rest has been history, really. I still play guitar, I still sing, I still try and play at every event I possibly can. And now I'm just trying to inspire kids the same way my music teachers inspired me.
That's amazing and just such an incredible journey to where you are. And how does it feel now to be able to be part of the Lloyd Local Series? I know local musicians, it's very important to get your name out there, and and the community obviously supports that as well. So being part of the Lloyd Local Series, how is that as someone like yourself, a singer-songwriter?
It's so incredible. I know so many talented people, and I was so grateful to get this opportunity. It's not too often where a smaller artist like myself gets to play in such a big venue on such a big stage with just such a great team behind them. So yeah, it's amazing, really. When I first found out, I was kind of shocked and just surprised that this was something that I was being offered. But yeah, it's been so exciting. I'm filled with butterflies every time I think about it, because it truly is an honor. I remember playing band concerts on that stage and thinking how cool it was back then. So I can't even imagine how it'll feel now.
Yes, it's kind of almost full circle a little bit when you were a student and now you're performing yourself. And speaking of the performance, we'll get right into talking about that. What can people expect from this show and from you yourself when you're performing?
So, like you said, I am a songwriter. I'm going to be doing a mix of some of my favorite covers, of course, because there's always got to be some of those, and then some of my originals, some of which I have never played before. So I'm really excited to bring those out. I'm also going to be joined for part of it by two incredible musicians. They have actually graced the Vic Tuba stage before. They were part of the Dylan Hansen and the Rough Cuts show a couple months ago, and they have decided to come back and help me out for a couple songs. So I'll start solo and then we'll turn it up a notch and we'll get into some really fun and more rock sounding music. So I'll be joined by the lovely Brent and Cody of Dylan Hansen and the Rough Cuts to join me. So this will sort of be McKenna Gallagher and the Rough Cuts ish, but yeah, I'm very excited to have them coming and join me. They're incredible musicians.
It sounds like it is going to be an incredible performance, not just for yourself being able to go out there on that big stage, but for those listening as well. And it seems like there's going to be a lot of different genres of music, like you mentioned, a little bit of rock, so a little bit of something for everybody, which is amazing, and also a chance for you to showcase your own material in your own songs, which is incredible. Maybe a little nerve-wracking, but it all adds to the performance, and I imagine it's going to be incredible. Now, for the actual day, it is taking place on November 14th. Where can people get tickets, and what is the time of the show so people are aware?
The show does start at 7:30. Nice time of night. Not too early, not too late for those people like myself who like to go to bed early. And the tickets you can get at the Vic Tuba box office, and you can look up their hours online. Otherwise, you can get them any time of day on the Vic Tuba website. They are there. They're $15. So not a super steep price for that. We're hoping to keep the tickets low so lots of people are able to come and are able to afford that price. And we're so excited. I would absolutely love to see everyone there.
Wonderful. Well, I cannot wait to hear all about it. I'm sure it's going to be incredible, and it's a great opportunity for yourself as well. So congratulations on getting the Lloyd Local Series, and I have no doubt that it's going to be amazing. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
Coming up after the break, Abby St. John will give us another look at your weather.
Taking a look at our final weather forecast for tonight. 8 degrees currently here in the border city. A mix of sun and cloud. The clouds will start to increase as the evening goes on, but for the most part, we had a relatively nice day out. Wind chill only feels closer to about 4 degrees, 22-kilometer-per-hour wind, so that's definitely not as windy as it was yesterday, which is always a nice reprieve, especially here. Current temperatures in Alberta, 8 degrees, also out in Red Deer, 9 in Edmonton, 7 up in Cold Lake, and out in Athabasca, Edson, and Rocky Mountain House, 6 degrees in Whitecourt and in Jasper. And in Saskatchewan, 8 degrees in Meadow Lake and in Melfort, 9 in Prince Albert and North Battleford, and 10 out in Saskatoon. Up north in Saskatchewan, a little bit cooler of temperatures, 1 degrees in Uranium City, Stony Rapids, Walston Lake, and South End, 6 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, and 7 in Flin Flon. And in Alberta, 6 degrees out in Fort Mac, 0 in Fort Chipewyan, 4 in High Level, 5 in Peace River and in Slave Lake, and 7 out in Grand Prairie. Down south in Alberta, 9 out in Coronation, 7 in Calgary, 5 in Banff and Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, both at 10 degrees. And in Saskatchewan, 9 out in Kindersley and Yorkton, 10 in Swift Current, Regina, and in Estevan, and 11 out in Moose Jaw. Overnight tonight in North Battleford will drop down to -4. It will start to be clear early on in the evening, and those clouds will then start to increase as the night goes on. 15-kilometer-per-hour winds, so it may feel a little bit chillier than that -4. Overnight tonight in Cold Lake, -3 will be your low tonight. Partially cloudy skies. That wind won't be too much of a factor, luckily only at 9 kilometers per hour. And then more overnight temperatures across the region, similar as well. -6 in Meadow Lake, -3 in Bonnyville, and -4 in Provost, Isle of Cross, and Paradise Hill. Partially to mostly cloudy skies in those areas. Isle of Cross is sitting fairly clear out tonight. And those wind speeds, not too much of a factor in Meadow Lake Lake and Bonnyville at 9 kilometers per hour, 13 kilometers per hour in Provost, 6 in Isle of Cross, and 11 out in Paradise Hills. So it's not too big of a factor this evening. And then more overnight temperatures, -4 in Murnum and in Unity, -5 in Pierceland and Wainwright, and -1 out in Calgary. And again, partially cloudy skies tonight, and then those clouds will start to increase overnight tonight. And again, those wind speeds are between 13 and 7 kilometers per hour, so not too big of a factor. Overnight tonight here in Lloydminster will drop down to -4, and those clouds will start to increase as the evening goes on as well. Winds will slow down just a bit to about 15 kilometers per hour, so it still will be on the chillier side this evening. And then over the next 7 days, a high of 8 and a low of -3 for tomorrow. Expect a mix of sun and cloud throughout the day, and that wind will start to pick up as well. On Sunday, it will be a gloomier day, quite cloudy and breezy in the morning, high of 11 and a low of 0. On Monday, a high of 4 and a low of -5, and it will become windier as well. On Tuesday, just a high of 2 degrees, so it is going to be fairly chilly on Tuesday, low of -6. And then a high of 6 both Wednesday and Thursday next week, and a low of -5 on those days. And then unfortunately, next Friday, we do have our first kind of prediction of snowfall. We do have about a 55% chance of a little morning snow, so closer to next Friday. Hopefully that changes, but for right now, that's what we're looking at. A high of 1 and a low of -7 to wrap up the next 7 days. So it's up and down. At least we have the double digit on Sunday, but for the most part, we are quite chilly, especially when we get later into next week.
Yeah, definitely. We've had a good run, I guess, without the snow. Yeah, I'm hoping something changes on Friday. Yes, fingers crossed.
That's the whole hope, is that it changes.
Well, that's all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. Thanks for watching.